Hey everybody, welcome back to the Court of Random Opinion. Thank you for joining me for the second time tonight. We have Jennifer Abel's amended response to Blake Lively's lawsuit to go through. I haven't read over this yet. It's 80-some pages, but I'll show you. A lot of it is in the beginning is stuff we're going to skim through. So it shouldn't take us too long. I'm not sure what's new here because I haven't looked them over yet. But if you can't stick with us, remember I always do quick recaps the morning after on these filings, so I will have a shorter video for you tomorrow. I'm going to let some more people filter in here before we get started. We'll give it like 1 to 2 minutes. I just want to say my channel members, if you're a paid member of Patreon or if you're a paid member of the YouTube channel, I was going to do a members only tonight, but then I wasn't expecting these documents out. So I think I'm going to post it tomorrow night. So if you want to do your little Ask Lauren questions, you still can. Just head over to my YouTube channel, go to posts, and then if you're a channel member, the post where that you can do that, it'll show up there. So, or on Patreon as well if you're a member there. So, we'll give it 1 more minute, but I have it pulled up here. So remember the answers here. It's like they're answering each paragraph. So some of this is just going to be kind of mundanity, and we've also seen all that before, so we'll skim through it, like I said, and we won't read every page word for word, and we'll see how it goes. Thank you, Nicole. My friend Zach Peter sent it to me. He's pretty cool. Lauren, what should I do this weekend? Well, I'll tell you in the members only video because well, I don't want to spoil it. So I'm going to be giving advice. Let's put it this way. I'm giving advice with a twist. So it's not real advice. It's bad advice. Bruce knows all about that because Bruce has done, we called it a stream where we only give very bad advice. And Bruce would join me for that a lot. So I'll be doing that. Let's see. You said ask me anything. Oh, yeah, totally. No, I won't answer it yet. I'll answer it when I do the little video. All right. We won't wait too much longer here, guys. So we have the complaints, allegations, and then she's going to go through paragraph by paragraph. And there's lots of paragraphs, so we're going to start skimming through here. Okay. These are pretty, like I said, mundane, these ones. Answering the allegations in paragraph 11, defendant denies the allegation that Baldoni or Heath engaged in inappropriate behavior. As to the remaining allegations, she lacks knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief. Okay, and you're going to see a lot of that in this document. When I'm done with the stream, guys, I will post a link to this as well if you want to read it in full. Let's see. Hold on. Answering the allegations in paragraph 12, defendant denies that Angie Giannetti shared alleged concerns from a cast member to defendant. As to all remaining allegations, defendant lacks knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief about the truth of such allegations. Who's Angie Giannetti again, guys? Do we remember that? Let me pull, hold on. Let me pull up the complaint and the Dropbox with all the documents, guys. I'm actually gonna end up putting them on Reddit, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. When I do, I'll post about it so you guys know where to find all that. We have a subreddit for my YouTube channel now, but I have not really used it yet. So let's see. Sony rep. Okay. I'm going to pull up that document for reference just in case. Amended. Nope, that's not how you spell that word. Here we go. Okay. Now I have it here in case I have another question. I forgot how long that thing was. Damn. Okay. So, answering the allegation, she denies that Angie Giannetti shared alleged concerns from a cast member to defendant. Right. Defendant admits production of the film shut down as a result of guild strikes. Okay. Answering the allegations in paragraph 19, defendant admits a meeting took place on January 4th and that attendees included Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Giannetti, Alex Sachs, Todd Black, Lively, and Ryan Reynolds. Okay. Defendant admits that Heath sent a communication containing the text set forth in that paragraph, paragraph 23. Defendant denies all the remaining allegations and specifically denies that the communications and their context are characterized accurately in the complaint. So let's go to paragraph 23 over here on Blake's documents. What were they? Okay. Mr. Heath described the marketing of the film to date as brilliant and fantastic and noted that we are not saying it's been inappropriately marketed in any way. So they're saying Wayfair endorsed that plan, the marketing plan, directed the cast to focus more on Lily's strength and resilience as opposed to describing the film as a story about domestic violence. So Blake then says that Jamie approved of that and said it was brilliant, fantastic, and Jennifer Abel in this amended response here is saying no, she didn't. LH, thank you for the 50. At least I can offset your Pacer cost. Thank you very much. Pacer, if you guys don't know, is the website where I get all these documents off of, and you do have to pay for them unless you like wait for somebody else to upload them online for free. So that's where that came from. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. That helps out a lot. Pacer bills quarterly, and I got my first ever Pacer bill at the end of, or like, I guess it was not that long ago. It was a couple weeks ago or so. And it was ugly. It's like, oh my God, what have I done? I regret nothing. So there's that. I regret nothing. Okay. Thank you, LH. Answering the allegations in paragraph 29, defendant admits Wayfair retained Melissa Nathan and Tag, and that Nathan made communications containing the text set forth in that paragraph. She denies all the remaining allegations and specifically denies the communications and their context are characterized accurately. 29 was 29. Ms. Nathan delivered a proposal to Mr. Baldoni, which included a website to discuss, full Reddit, full social account takedowns, full social crisis team on hand for anything. This is the way to be fully 100% protected. Okay. All of this will be, most importantly, untraceable. So that's what they're talking about there. All right. Sorry, we're going to be referencing back and forth a lot. Okay. Okay. There's nothing too substantive in those above. They're all pretty much saying the same thing. A lot of these are just going to be like denies such allegations or doesn't have enough information. Let's see. Answering the allegations in paragraph 45, defendant lacks knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief about the truth of the allegation that a female cast member texted Lively on or about August 14th, and that online hate and vitriol found its way onto various social media accounts. As to all remaining allegations, defendant denies such allegations. What was 45 over here? I just want to know what they're referencing. The retaliation campaign had resulted in the viral spread of derogatory content directed at Lively, her family, and other female cast members, as well as harassment and cyberbullying of the same. Online hate and vitriol found its way onto the social media accounts of much of the cast of the film, Miss Lively, Mr. Reynolds, and numerous businesses associated with them. By August 14th, the female cast member texted Miss Lively expressing feeling concerned and helpless about the online narrative. Okay. Valgal, thank you for the 5. Thank you, Laura, for all you put into this, both time and money. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here. Also, it helps just that you watch. So, thanks. Okay. Nothing too much here. These are mostly just one-liners. Okay. Right. Nothing too much there. That's just like straight facts. Answering the allegations in paragraph 82 of the complaint, defendant admits that Lively called Baldoni a sociopath. As to all remaining allegations, defendant denies such allegations. Did I forget that? I must have just straight up forgot that she said that. So this is Blake's complaint. So this is where she's saying that he was like leaning in to try to kiss her and all that stuff, putting his thumb to her mouth and caressing her and telling her how good she smells. And we all saw that video, right? We all saw that video where it's like they were clearly in character, but she's saying none of this took place while Mr. Baldoni was in character. But as we saw in the video that they put out there, it was clearly while they were filming the scene. So that's where I think that I saw that and I was really like, wow, she actually just straight up lied. So yeah. Okay. Oh, it's Cassidy here. Hi, Cassidy. Just stopped in to like and say hi. I'm working on my live for tomorrow morning. I put a link to this live. Hey, if you guys aren't subscribed to Cassidy, you definitely should be, dude. You definitely should be. Cassidy says, yes, Pacer adds up fast. Yeah, I learned my lesson, bro. I learned my lesson. The thing is, I'm going to do it again. So I guess I didn't learn my lesson. I guess I learned my lesson, but I'm going to proceed to do it again anyways. Let's put it that way. Traveler Landed, thank you for the 5 hugs and bacon. Oh, back at you. Thank you very much. All right, let's see. I was listening to Cassidy's live stream on Friday, and I caught the end of it before I went on, and hers are really good. Again, you should definitely go listen. And I was like listening to her. I guess she'd never done like a live before. I don't know if it's just been a while since she did a live, but it was really funny, like listening to her like so nicely chatting with everybody. I was like, you're so pleasant. You're so pleasant. I just have straight ADD, and everybody's like, Lauren, focus. But yeah. Oh, yeah, I should put her link in there. Hang on. All right. I'll put a link in the chat right now, okay? If you guys want to sub to her, give me 1 second. There we go. And I pinned it, so you can go over there and check her out. All right. Back to this amended answer. Okay, so answering the allegations in paragraph 100, defendant denies that Baldoni personally described Lively as sexy out of character. As to all remaining allegations, the allegations require no response because they merely state a legal conclusion. So this thing about him calling her sexy out of character, again, like, I don't know how much I could believe that because she said that he was doing those other things out of character, and there's video evidence that he was not, in fact, doing that. Also, if somebody says they want their outfit to be sexy or like their character's clothes to be sexy or something, and then the guy uses the word sexy describing the wardrobe, that is not sexual harassment. Okay? Get a life. I mean, Jesus. It's not like he was saying, you're so sexy, you smell so good. Jesus, that is not what happened. That's just how they framed it. All right. Answering the allegations in paragraph 148, admits the allegation that Wayfair sent a communication containing the text in that paragraph, denies all the remaining allegations. What was 148? Let's check that out. Counsel for Wayfair indicated that Wayfair, Sony, and production respectfully acknowledge that your client has concerns regarding safety, professionalism, and workplace culture. Although a perspective differs in many aspects, ensuring a safe environment for all involved is paramount, irrespective of differing viewpoints. Couldn't be more clear that they're not agreeing with them on their perspective there, right? Okay. Regarding your outlined requests, we find most of them not only reasonable, but also essential for the benefit of all parties involved. That's not saying we need that in place because people have been doing these bad things that you're saying. It's that it's reasonable to expect that people won't do these things. And of course it is, because nobody was doing that in the first place. Weirdos. All right. Okay. They're talking about the meeting again. Let's see. What is this paragraph here? Defendant admits that the film grossed more than $350 million, that the linked video quotes Sarowitz as making the quoted remarks, and that Wayfair promoted the film's addition to Netflix. Okay. As to the remaining allegations, they require no response. They merely state a legal conclusion. What was it that Sarowitz said that they were putting there? My lord. Forgot how long this was. Okay. Reveling in the financial success of the film, they now incredibly accuse Miss Lively of hijacking. Mr. Sarowitz boasted in one interview that the film was #1 in the country. Okay. When one interviewer congratulated Sarowitz on the film's impressive 50 million opening weekend, Mr. Sarowitz responded that the film had actually grossed 80 million worldwide. Cool. Monica Smart, thank you for the $2. Does this look sexy? I plead the fifth. Thank you. Yes, your $2 does look very sexy. Thank you. Please don't sue me for harassment. Okay. We're almost to like paragraph 200 here, so we're getting along. Okay. It's answering the allegations in 187, defendant admits the allegation that Abel sent Heath communications containing the text. She lacks knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief as to the truth of the allegations that Lively and others in the cast fulfilled a publicity obligation that they did not discuss purported misconduct on set. So let's go to 187 here. Okay. In June 2024, a month after Mr. Baldoni's first promotional event for the film, Miss Lively and others in the cast fulfilled their first publicity obligation for the film without Mr. Baldoni. They did not publicly discuss the misconduct that had occurred on set, nor did they ever suggest to Wayfair or Baldoni that they intended to discuss their concerns publicly. Okay. All right, and then she's admitting that she sent Heath the text here that said, we can't have fans starting to guess why JB is left out of this stuff, which again does not mean what they're framing it to mean, you know? So it's like, we can't have them like speculating on this stuff, because if they start speculating and stuff starts to look bad for Blake, then she might try to turn around and pin it on Justin. So that's pretty reasonable to me. I did, Reg Angel. I did. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay. Defendant admits that Nathan communicated with media sources on behalf of Baldoni and Wayfair. Okay. Defendant admits that Baldoni had a phone call to discuss services that Nathan and Tag might provide to Wayfair and Baldoni. Right. So they're mostly just talking about their business arrangements here and what they were doing for him. Admits Tag circulated a document containing the text set forth in paragraph 203. Let's check out 203. Oh, the scenario planning, it ends with us document. Okay. They admit they circulated a document containing the text in 204. Same one. Yeah. Should Miss Lively and her team make her grievances public? So it was just like the title of the document says, scenario planning. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Especially if you're working in PR. Like, come on, get a grip. Okay. I don't think we're going to learn too much from these that we don't already know. So I'm going to, skim through most of this. Like I said, defendant admits that Tag erroneously stated in its answer to Lively's initial complaint that Tag retained Wallace. Okay. Defendant admits an allegation that Tag sent communications containing the text set forth in paragraph 225. Let me see what 225 is. And if it's anything we need to read over. $225. Okay. This is a document. It says Tag indicated their intent to leverage social to quiet/kill media coverage regarding public suspicions related to Mr. Baldoni's disconnect from the film's cast. Again, this is not like a crazy thing to be doing when you're in PR. Okay. Just keep skimming down towards the end here. Most of the interesting stuff's going to be at the bottom of this document, guys. So I don't want to waste too much time rolling through these things that we've already kind of harped to death because this is just an amended response, right? So a lot of it's going to be the same. Defendant admits that Abel communicated with Sarah and Nathan. That was significant for, I'm trying to remember why, so let's find out. 269 and 254 there. After Sarah Nathan circulated a draft language related to Miss Lively's involvement with the different cuts of the film, Miss Abel sent Sarah Nathan revisions to the draft, which Sarah Nathan offered to amend. Okay. So Sarah Nathan is she's a writer for, who is she a writer for? The Daily Mail? It's not Daily Mail, is it? It might be. What's confusing is that there's Melissa Nathan and there's Sarah Nathan. So when they're saying Ms. Nathan here, I'm like, oh crap, which one is it? Okay. But she works with one of these media outlets. I know somebody in the chat's going to know which outlet it is. Okay. What is an upsetting development? What is happening over here? Hang on. Oh, Megyn Kelly said that. Yeah. Okay. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything crazy. I think if you were that person, it'd be quite disturbing to see that someone played out your fate in that way. What are we talking about here? Oh, what we were just, okay. Yeah, and the letter in the last stream. Gotcha. Okay, I'm going to keep moving through this document, guys. I get too curious about what you guys are saying in the chat over there. Sometimes for my own good. All right. Okay. Yeah, there's not going to be much to read in the rest of these to the bottom pages. Hang on. Defendant denies the allegations that Baldoni, Heath, or any defendant sought to destroy Lively or any other person, or that they conducted a retaliatory campaign, which is pretty standard, honestly, to deny that, I feel like. But okay. We're almost to the bottom of the paragraphs here because there were 400 something, if I recall correctly. So, yeah, we're good. Here we go. Okay, we'll read through the defenses, and then we'll get to the rest of it. Affirmative and other defenses. By alleging the following affirmative and other defenses, defendant is not in any way agreeing or conceding that she has the burden of proof or burden of persuasion on any of these issues. As separate and distinct defenses to plaintiff's complaint and each purported cause of action contained therein, defendant alleges as follows. Okay. First defense, the complaint in each claim alleged therein fails to state facts sufficient to constitute any claim for relief against defendant. The complaint and each claim alleged therein is barred as plaintiff lacks standing to sue. The complaints in each claim alleged therein is barred as plaintiff has waived her claims. Plaintiff is stopped from asserting her claims. Plaintiff acted and continues to act with unclean hands. And I remember the first time I read unclean hands. And I was like, what is that? Plaintiff has not been damaged in any way or at all as a result of any alleged acts or omissions of defendant. The seventh defense, the complaint in each claim alleged therein is barred in whole or in part by the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America. Eighth, barred by reason of plaintiff's consent. Ninth, plaintiff has failed to undertake reasonable measures to mitigate the damages she claims to have incurred. Any recovery by plaintiff must be diminished to the extent that any alleged damages could have been avoided if such measures had been undertaken. 10th, that plaintiff would be unjustly enriched if recovery were to be had on this complaint. Okay, 11th, plaintiff has not been damaged in any amount alleged or in any amount whatsoever and is not entitled to any general compensatory, statutory, punitive, or other damages or any other relief as a result of any of the allegations set forth in the complaint. I know they're saying that she is like suffering like crippling consequences of all this stuff, like the smear campaign they're alleging, but like honestly, she looks like she's living a very good life right now. I'm just going to say that. That's what that makes me think of. All right. 12th defense, the acts and or omissions of plaintiff excused by any alleged act or alleged failure to act on part of the defendant. 13th, if defendant had any alleged obligations or legal dues, which defendant hereby expressly denies, defendant has appropriately, completely, and fully performed and discharged any alleged obligations and any alleged legal duties arising out of the matters alleged in the complaint. 14th defense. The damages and injuries, if any, suffered by plaintiff were directly and proximately caused solely by the acts or omissions of individuals or entities other than defendant. The acts and omissions of such other individuals or entities are superseding or intervening causes of loss or damages, if any, suffered by plaintiff. As a consequence thereof, plaintiff is barred from recovery against defendant herein. 15th defense. The damages and injuries, if any, suffered by plaintiff were directly and proximately caused solely by the reckless, negligent, and wrongful conduct of individuals or entities other than defendant. As a consequence thereof, plaintiff is barred from recovery herein. 16th, damages and injuries, if any, suffered by plaintiff were directly and proximately caused solely by the intentional misconduct of individuals or entities other than defendant. 17th, the complaint fails to state facts sufficient to permit an award of punitive damages, and any such award would violate due process. 18th, the complaint and each and every cause of action alleged therein fails to state any facts supporting any claim for punitive or exemplary damages. 19th, the complaint and each and every cause of action alleged is barred in whole or in part because at all material times defendant acted in good faith and without malice based upon all relevant facts and circumstances known at the time. 20th, plaintiff and her agents, servants, and employees has failed to bring the causes of action alleged in the complaint in a timely manner and are therefore barred from recovery against defendant in whole or in part by the equitable doctrine of, how do you pronounce that again? Doctrine of laches. I wish Cassidy, I could hear Cassidy like out loud right now so I could ask her. The doctrine of laches is equitable principle that bars a party from pursuing a legal claim due to an unreasonable delay in asserting their rights, causing prejudice to the other party. Okay. Pronunciation. Laches? Laches. Okay. Got it. You guys are always here when I'm learning stuff. Sorry. Okay. Class, pay attention. That's right. Okay. Doctrine of laches. 21st defense. Defendant alleges that in the event she found in some manner legally liable to plaintiff as a result of the events or occurrences described in the complaint, the liability will be solely based upon a derivative, vicarious, or imputed form of liability, not resulting from her own conduct, but instead based upon an obligation imposed upon her by law or by the conduct of others, and as such, the legal liability of defendant would be proximately caused by the acts or omissions of others, and therefore the defendant is entitled to recover contribution from them. 22nd defense. God, these are getting longer. All right, 22nd defense. Defendant alleges that in the event she's found in some manner legally liable to plaintiff, as a result of the events or occurrences described in the complaint, the liability will be based solely upon a derivative, vicarious, or imputed form of liability, not resulting from her own conduct, but instead based upon an obligation imposed upon her by law or by the conduct of others, such as the legal liability of defendant would be proximately caused by acts or omissions of others, and therefore defendant is entitled to recover total and complete implied and or comparable indemnity from them. Okay. Defendant alleges, this is 23rd, defendant alleges that in the event she's found in some manner legally liable to plaintiff as a result of the events, oh my god, a bug. It's a spider. Stop it. Why would I swack it? I don't know why I did that. Anyways. Where was I? We'll just start that one over. Defendant alleges if she's found legally liable, liability will be based solely upon a derivative, vicarious, or imputed form of liability, not resulting from her own conduct, but instead based upon an obligation imposed upon her by law. And then the end is pretty much the same as the last one. 24th, any injury or damage to plaintiff, which defendant specifically denies, was proximately caused by the negligence, recklessness, or intentional conduct of others who acted as one or more of the plaintiff's legal counsel, agents, or representatives. Accordingly, if any liability is found on the part of the defendant, then defendant's liability to plaintiff should be reduced on the basis of comparative fault. 25th, any injury or damage to plaintiff, which defendant specifically denies, was proximately caused by the negligence of plaintiff. 26th, plaintiff's alleged damages are too speculative to permit recovery in this case. 27th, 27. The complaint and each and every cause of action alleged therein is barred in whole or in part by the doctrine of in pari delicto. 28. The complaint and each and every cause of action fails to allege facts sufficient to allow recovery of attorney's fees from defendant. 29. Plaintiff does not allege defendant took any wrongful actions within California. 30. The complaint and each and every cause of action alleged against defendant therein is barred by the applicable statutes of limitations. 31. Complaint in each and every cause of action alleged against defendant is barred by plaintiff's failure to exhaust administrative remedies. And that's definitely the case. Failure to exhaust administrative remedies. That makes sense. Reservation of additional defenses. Defendant presently has insufficient knowledge or information on which to form a belief as to whether she may have additional, as yet unstated affirmative or other defenses available. Defendant reserves the right to assert additional defenses in the event that discovery indicates they would be appropriate. Okay. So obviously they have a lot of stuff they have yet to see from discovery. We know they haven't even shown the Wayfarer parties the subpoena yet. They know where it came from now, but they haven't seen the subpoena, according to Brian Friedman, who talked to the press. Prayer for relief. Wherefore, defendant Jennifer Abel prays for relief as follows. 1. Complaint be dismissed with prejudice, and plaintiffs take nothing. 2. Judgment be entered in favor of defendant and against plaintiff. 3. For costs of suit incurred in this action. And 4. For such other and further relief as the court may deem just and proper. All right. Now we're down to the third party complaint, where I think if there's any like interesting edits, this is where it's going to come from. So it's only 12 pages from here, and this is where she's making the third party complaint against Stephanie Jones. So yeah. 1 second, guys. Anissa Balkris, I hope I said that right, Balkris. Thank you for the $5 super sticker. You're awesome. Appreciate you. All right. Let's see. I'll skim over like this part where it's talking about the parties because we already know who they are, obviously. Miss Southern Twang. All right. Jurisdiction and venue. The matter in controversy exceeds the sum or value of $75,000. I'll say. General allegations. A. Abel joins JonesWorks. JonesWorks is a well-known New York-based public relations firm founded by Stephanie Jones, who serves as its CEO. Long known within the public relations industry for her disarming Southern twang, brass knuckle tactics, and high turnover of clients and employees, Stephanie Jones has had a successful career in the entertainment industry. Her firm, JonesWorks, has represented at various times Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jeff Bezos, Lauren Sanchez, Venus Williams, Tom Brady, and Chris Hemsworth. Jones is married to Jason Hodes, who is a partner at WME, who represents Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, mind you, Hollywood's most powerful talent agency. Between her perch atop JonesWorks and his partnership at WME, Jones and Hodes are a bona fide Hollywood power couple. Okay. When Jones poached Jen Abel, Abel was an up-and-coming star publicist at RNCPMK, a storied 70-year-old public relations arm of Interpublic Group. We've read her background quite a few times now from these documents, so I'm going to skim over some of this. Okay. Although Abel was content at RNCPMK and not actively looking for a new job, Jones offered her a higher salary and critically the opportunity to lead her own team. When Abel announced her intention to join JonesWorks, she was met with a parade of concern from across her professional network. An array of well-respected public relations professionals from across the entertainment industry reached out to Abel to caution her against working for Stephanie Jones. Jones, they warned, had a well-deserved reputation for treating people horribly. Jones had recently become embroiled in a dispute with another public relations firm for stealing its clients using deceptive and unscrupulous means. Excited by the new opportunity and not personally familiar with Jones or JonesWorks, Abel decided to make the jump in spite of the admonitions from her peers. Okay. Abel's employment agreement. So we know she signed the 2020 agreement. It provided that she was an at-will employee whose employment was exclusive to JonesWorks. Right. On or about November 22nd, 2021, JonesWorks required Abel to enter into a modified employment agreement, changing her employment from at-will to a contractual term, adjusting her title and compensation, and subjecting her to a variety of novel restrictions intended to deter her from leaving JonesWorks and inhibiting her ability to remain in her chosen field if she were to do so. Okay, and we read about that recently, so I'm going to skim over that. Important to remember, though, Abel performed no work for JonesWorks in the state of New York. All right. Abel performed all obligations under the 2020 employment agreement and the 2021 employment agreement. For almost 4 years, she largely managed JonesWorks' work for Wayfair Studios and Justin Baldoni out of its Los Angeles office. Over time, Abel had developed a close and trusting relationship with Baldoni, Wayfair CEO Jamie Heath, and the rest of the team, particularly as their strategic communications needs became ever more complex in relation to It Ends With Us, the film. Okay. She was the point person during her 4 years with JonesWorks for that account. On or about July 10th, she notified Jones of her departure. Abel later confirmed her earlier decision to resign on July 26th and communicated her intention to start her own business. She offered a 6-week transition period with an end date of August 23rd. On August 21st, JonesWorks terminated Abel. They couldn't have just waited 2 more days. Omar, what's going on? Every time I prep a show, something new breaks. I know, man. I know. Did you see the Marvel response as well? We did a stream before this one because Marvel's they wrote a response to Marvel Studios. So I'll have to send you these to your email if you want them. All right. Plaintiff sues Abel for acts taken in the discharge of Abel's duties. On December 31st, plaintiff Blake Lively, because remember, this is the amended response to Blake Lively's lawsuit. Plaintiff commenced this action by the filing of a complaint in which she asserted claims against Abel for A, aiding and abetting harassment and retaliation in violation of California's FEHA, and B, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and C, false light invasion of privacy. Okay. Send them. I guess I'm doing a new show now. I'll send them. No worries. If you're not going on too late, let me know. I'll be around. I'll probably be around for a couple more hours or so. Okay. On February 18th, plaintiff filed an amended complaint in which she asserted claims against Abel for the same ones, and then she added civil conspiracy. Okay. The conduct alleged by plaintiff to have been committed by Abel and to have caused harm to plaintiff consists of PR activities on behalf of Wayfair and Baldoni during the time period when they were clients of JonesWorks. To the extent any such conduct by Abel was undertaken, as alleged, which Abel disputes, it was undertaken in obedience to JonesWorks' directions. So basically, even if I did any of this, which I'm denying that I did, it was because of Stephanie Jones, is like what she's saying. Okay. For example, plaintiff alleges Heath and Baldoni in their own capacities and as reps of Wayfair were directly engaged via contract with JonesWorks, which engagement gave rise to the retaliation campaign at issue. And Miss Abel worked as an employee of JonesWorks, which position directly gave rise to the retaliation campaign at issue. And that's paragraph 73 in Blake's complaint. Although Abel disputes the truth of plaintiff's allegations, insofar as they purport to allege conduct by Abel causing harm to plaintiff, the substance of the allegations appears to be Abel participated in a coordinated astroturfing campaign to discredit and bury plaintiff. Abel solicited, developed, implemented, and/or promoted a covert multi-tiered press and digital plan to harm plaintiff and discourage her from making public statements harmful to Wayfair and Baldoni, among others. Abel publicly disclosed information concerning plaintiff's marketing decisions, moral character, private life, and family, which showed plaintiff in a false light. And Abel conspired with others to commit these acts. Okay. Hey, Rob, what's up? Plaintiff's allegations against Abel, the veracity of which Abel disputes, are of conduct and communications directed at the press and the public to garner good publicity, and to eliminate or minimize bad publicity for the clients, Wayfair and Baldoni, activities which are the very essence of the public relations profession. Jonesworks and Jones gave Abel directions to carry out the duties of a competent PR professional on behalf of the clients, including but not limited to garnering good publicity and eliminating or minimizing bad publicity. In addition, Jones personally interfered with Abel's competent handling of her duties, including by attempting to insert herself with poorly timed negative communications to the press and public that were discovered by plaintiff's own publicist, Leslie Sloan. Jones' blunders clumsily disrupted a putative truce with Sloan by communicating negatively with the media about plaintiff, exacerbating negative press and public attention on plaintiff by adding fuel to negative stories of a feud with plaintiff. Jones' incompetent handling of communications with the press only caused negative stories to circulate further and attract greater attention. Abel was named as a defendant in plaintiff's pleadings only because of, and in direct consequence of, Abel's discharge of her duties as a competent PR professional employed by Jonesworks. Abel was named as a defendant in plaintiff's pleadings only because of, and in direct consequence of, Abel's obedience to the directions of Jonesworks. Upon information and belief, Jonesworks was not named as a defendant in plaintiff's lawsuit because Jones and Jonesworks conspired with plaintiff to exploit Abel's private communications that Jones and Jonesworks stole and unlawfully intercepted for the purpose of harming Jonesworks' former clients, Wayfair, Heath, and Baldoni. Well, when you put it like that. All right. Let's read through these causes of action real quick, shall we? Statutory indemnification pursuant to California Labor Code Section 2802. 41. Abel hereby incorporates each and every allegation set forth above, as if set forth fully herein. California Labor Code Section 2802A provides, an employer shall indemnify his or her employee for all necessary expenditures or losses incurred by the employee in direct consequence of the discharge of his or her duties, or of his or her obedience to the directions of the employer, even though unlawful, unless the employee at the time of obeying the directions believed them to be unlawful. Section C provides, for purposes of this section, the term necessary expenditures or losses shall include all reasonable costs, including but not limited to attorney's fees incurred by the employee enforcing the rights granted by this section. California Labor Code Section 2804 provides, any contract or agreement, express or implied, made by any employee to waive the benefits of this article or any part thereof is null and void, and this article shall not deprive any employee or his personal representative of any right or remedy to which he is entitled under the laws of this state. At all relevant times, Jonesworks was Abel's employer. At all relevant times, Wayfair and Baldoni were clients of Jonesworks. Whether or not Abel is ultimately found liable to Lively, the plaintiff, Abel has incurred expenditures and losses, including attorney's fees, in defending this action as a direct consequence of the discharge of her duties as a PR professional employed by Jonesworks. Whether or not Abel is ultimately found liable to plaintiff, Abel has incurred expenditures and losses, including attorney's fees, in defending this action as a direct consequence of her obedience to the direction of Jonesworks. Okay. The 2021 employment agreement was a contract or agreement made by an employee to waive the benefits of Article 2 of the California Labor Code or part thereof, and is null and void. Alternatively, the California statutory requirement that an employer shall indemnify an employee is not part of the 2021 employment agreement, or the performance of the parties' obligations thereunder are subject to its terms. Pursuant to California Labor Code Section 2802, Jonesworks is obligated to indemnify Abel for such expenditures and losses, including attorney's fees, incurred in connection with plaintiff's claims. All right. Second cause of action is implied/common law indemnification. So I'll skim through some of this. Hang on. As Abel's principal, Jonesworks had exclusive responsibility for the actions or omissions of its agent that A, plaintiff's first amended complaint attributes to Abel, B, serve as the basis for plaintiff's claims, and C, resulted in the alleged loss or damage incurred by plaintiff. All right. Third cause of action, contribution. Because of Jones' works collusion with plaintiff. Hang on, wait. Let's go to 63 first. Although plaintiff made the choice not to name Jones' works as a defendant, this choice was the result of unlawful and unethical collusion between plaintiff and Jones' works, acting by and through Jones. Because of Jones' works collusion with plaintiff against both Abel and Jones' works' former clients, and Jones' own negligent handling of public relations duties, to the extent Abel is found culpable for any injury which plaintiff may be found to have suffered, Jones' works is jointly responsible and a concurrent wrongdoer. Jones' works' acts or omissions had a part in causing or augmenting any injury which plaintiff may be found to have suffered, and indeed played a greater part relative to Abel's acts or omissions. Accordingly, Jones' works owes Abel contribution for the portion of the damages awarded against Abel attributable to Jones' works' own negligence. Okay. Prayer for relief. Jen Abel prays for relief as follows. On the first cause of action for indemnification, a judgment declaring to the extent she incurs any expenditures or losses as a result of defending this action, judgment be entered against Jones' works in favor of Abel in the amount of such expenditures or losses. Okay. On the second cause of action, a judgment declaring that to the extent Abel is adjudged to have any liability to plaintiff in this action resulting from Jones' works' own negligence, judgment be entered against Jones' works in favor of Abel in the amount of such adjudged liability, including any expenditures or losses, and B, for monetary damages against Jones' works in an amount according to proof, including the expenditures and losses incurred by Abel resulting from Jones' works' own negligence. On the third cause of action for contribution, a judgment A, declaring that to the extent Abel is adjudged to have any liability for plaintiff in this action, judgment be entered against Jones' works in favor of Abel for contribution in the amount of Jones' works' relative culpability. And B, for monetary damages against Jones' works in an amount according to proof, including the expenditures and losses incurred by Abel in direct consequence of the Jones' works' own relative culpability, for pre- and post-judgment interest, and for such other and further relief as the court may deem just and proper. Additionally, here, defendant/third-party plaintiff Jennifer Abel demands a jury trial on all causes of action so triable. All right. Whew. So most of the new stuff was at the bottom there. It was about the conspiring. So nothing too wild, too out there. Like we knew most of that, but I don't know. I'm assuming if Justin and the rest of the Wayfair parties want to amend their answers, they have to do that separately. So like Jamie Heath put in his own answer, Justin had put in his own answer, Wayfair put in his own answer, Sarowitz had put in his own answer. So I'm assuming they all have to amend if they want to do that, but I'm not positive because I guess Jen Abel is the one who is the employee of Jones' works, so I'm not sure if they will or not. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's I know Omar had just hopped in here. I think he probably left by now, but if he's on later and I'm not asleep, I'll probably hop on with him to ask him some questions about this stuff. Let's see. Let me see if Ari's still on. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. It's always crazy to me when we get 1,000 viewers on one of my live streams. I'm like, there's 1,000 people listening to me talk right now, and I'm just like full of ADHD. I'm going to send you guys over to my friend Ari since we're done here, and I'm going to prep the quick recap for tomorrow morning. So if you couldn't stick with us through this whole stream, or if you just got here and you don't have time for the whole thing, I'm going to do a quick recap. That'll be out probably like 8 a.m. tomorrow. So, and I will work on a couple other things. Like I said, the members only video is probably going to be posted tomorrow night, guys, unless something else comes up on the docket. Then it'll be pushed to the next night, but I'll get done with it as soon as I can, okay? And like I said, you can still send in your questions for that members only video if you want. Just go to my YouTube channel under the post tab, and I will see you very soon. I'm sending you over to Ari. Make sure you send her lots of bacon emojis and robot emojis. The Bacon Bot Army is going over to Ari's stream now. So she only has 4 people watching right now, so I would appreciate if you guys could just flood her. I'm sure she would be very, very happy. That would be awesome. All right, thanks everybody for listening. I'll post a link to the docs as always in the description of this video as soon as I'm done here. And I will see you all soon. Bye.